Hello, Kira.
What do you want?
I just wanted to see if you'd received those little gifts I sent you to celebrate your Season 2 premiere.
That was you?
Oh, come now, Kira. You still have to suffer.
What did I ever do to you?
For one thing, you canceled my abridged series.
I've canceled a lot of abridged series.
Twice.
I had a schedule to keep up.
You also beat up my godfather with a Nerf gun so badly, he burst into coins.
Hey, no! Bay had to pay for what he did.
Well, guess what, Kira? You'll pay for what you did as well. You're not leaving here until you finish what you started. Starting with that. You're holding up part 1, right?
Yeah.
Whew, that's a relief. You can never tell when you're taunting someone over the phone, you know what I mean? Regardless, good luck, Kira. You're gonna need it.
Why do they always say that? Oh well, Season 2, here we go. Just a little faster. There are no words in Entish, Elvish, or tongues of man that can express how goddamn sick I am of these bloody Twilight movies.
They're poorly written, terribly acted, and agonizingly boring. And yet, because of its completely obsessive fanbase, these movies have been financially successful to the point where Summit Entertainment milked out the final book, Breaking Dawn, for 2 movies.
And oh dear God, does it show with this one. But, before I get to this monstrosity, I have to address the big pink fanfiction writing elephant in the room, who's responsible for forcing me to watch this.
Long story short, on top of these reviews, I also make an abridged series. Now, I currently abridge Beast Wars, but I also had several failed attempts prior to that. One of which was a Digimon abridged series where I wrote a certain character as a writer of many disturbing fanfictions.
And like a polarizing Wes Craven movie, this character began to take a life of its own.
Things were kind of made worse after my encounter with Michael Bay, who was apparently her godfather. And now she has apparently decided to swear her poorly written vengeance against me.
So now we got that out of the way, let's find out why I put this off for the better part of a year. This is Breaking Dawn, Part 1.
The movie opens with a short montage of Charlie and Renee Swan receiving their invitations to one of the many events all the little 13-year-old girls have been waiting for. The wedding of Edward Cullen and Beelzebub. Yeah, I mean Bella Swan. Speaking of our favorite unholy union, we then cut to Bella and Edward having the exact same conversation they've been having for the last 3 movies.
It's not too late to change your mind.
If she had the good sense to do that, she would have left your ass when you threw her into a goddamn wall on her birthday!
So Edward decides to tell her a story about the killing spree he went on as a newborn, but like most other plot points in this movie, that goes absolutely nowhere and is never mentioned again. Along with the next 5 minutes of screen time until we finally arrive at yet another long-awaited moment, the wedding.
here on this glorious day to witness the union of Edward Cullen and Bella Swan.
Oh, can we get the priest from Spaceballs over here?
Okay, here we go. The short version. Do you?
Yes.
Do you?
Yes.
Good, you're married. Kiss her.
After the wedding, we get the reunion I was looking forward to.
You look so good to me.
As well as an introduction to a bunch of the Cullens' cousins, I think? One of whom was revealed to be the, mate, I think, of Laurent, one of the 3 evil vampires from the first movie. And then we're treated to the only funny scene in the entire movie.
I'll give you a hint. It involves Charlie.
Edward will be a good husband. I know this because I'm a cop. I know things. Like how to hunt somebody. And I know how to use a gun.
You know, while I'm at it, can we see that scene from the first movie again?
All right. Bring him in.
Oh, it gets better every time.
So after everything is said and done, Jacob arrives on the scene. Most likely so Edward can rub some more salt on his wounds.
Yeah, I am pissed about that!
Given the fact that Jacob has thus far been the only one of the 3 leads that can even remotely qualify as normal, I actually feel sorry for the poor bastard. He's been getting this shit into the stick for the better part of 3 goddamn movies now, and Edward's just being an arrogant asshole about it. Regardless, Edward leaves Jacob and Bella to talk, and Bella reveals that for whatever reason, she wants to put off being turned by Edward so that she can enjoy her honeymoon as a human. A decision Jacob points out is incredibly stupid.
You are joking. What, while you're still human? You can't be serious, Bella. Tell me you're not that stupid.
Jake, need I remind you, this is the same woman who literally threw herself off a cliff because doing so allowed her to see the asshole that left her. The same asshole, need I remind you, that she dumped your ass for the second he came back. Let's face it, this girl has the survival instincts of a red shirt!
Unfortunately, because Jacob is so beyond whipped, he gets pissy, causing his alpha Sam to intervene and remind him that she isn't their problem anymore.
Remember that. It's gonna hurt later.
And the Colettes leave as we cut to a montage of Bella and Edward leaving for their honeymoon on a private island that Carlisle owns off the coast of Brazil.
Also, get used to me saying they cut to a montage, because this movie is about 60% montage, 35% padding, and only 2% actual plot. Why did they decide they needed to milk this out as 2 movies again?
Millions of dollars!
Oh yeah, that's right.
So after wasting another 10 minutes of screen time on awkward sex and vacation montages, as well as showing the damage that Edward boning Bella has done,
even though it was much more graphic in the book, with the vampire sex breaking more than just the bed. Okay, yes, I've read the Twilight Saga, okay?
What?
Oh, hey, Jesh.
Don't hey Jesh me. You read the Twilight Saga?
Yeah.
Willingly?
It was high school. I was bored and, well, all the good books have been checked out of the school's library.
That's no excuse.
I had also just been friend-zoned over Facebook, so I may or may not have been emotionally compromised at the time.
You got friend-zoned over Facebook?
Maybe? You, Jesh. Now, where was I? Oh, yeah.
we cut to Jacob and the Colettes dropping an exposition dump about how Jacob turned down being the Pax Alpha, whether or not he'd be able to kill Bella once Edward turns her, and finally, more about that imprinting crap from the last movie. We then cut back to Bella, who after some blatant product placement makes a horrifying discovery.
I think that I'm pregnant.
Afraid of what might come from the unholy sin against nature that is these two mouth-breathers breeding, Edward and Bella decide to rush back to Forks. They rush back to Forks. They rush back to...
Oh, for the love of...
Jacob arrives at the Cullen house after Charlie tells him that Bella called claiming to be sick, only to find holy sh...
Okay, as much as I hate to say something nice about this movie, I gotta admit, whoever did Kristen Stewart's makeup here did a pretty damn decent job. Ugh. Sorry. Threw up in my mouth a little there.
Anyways, Bella reveals to Jacob that she is in fact pregnant, which he takes about as well as you'd expect.
You did this.
So Edward takes Jacob outside and pleads him to convince Bella to abort the pregnancy.
Could you just excuse me for a second?
Jacob accepts Edward's plea and goes to tell our favorite Satan spawn that having her little Satan spawn might not be the best idea. But again, Bella's kinda stupid that way and refuses.
Dumbass!
So he leaves to go consult his pack of abysmal CGI wolves, which reveal that they can speak telepathically, ruining what could have been a great character moment for Jacob. Sim reveals that because of Bella's little sin against nature, and despite the fact that not 3 weeks earlier he said that Bella and Edward's imminent boning wasn't their problem, the treaty has been broken and they are going to slaughter every last Cullen. However, Jacob takes exception to this decision, tells Sam to f*** off, and then goes back to warn the Cullens, along with Seth and Leah Clearwater, all of whom agree to help stand watch for Sam and the rest of the pack.
And guess what? We're given another f***ing montage of nothing happening!
Okay, it's not exactly true. We do get a conversation between Carlisle and Bella about how the baby is killing her, but guess what? It goes nowhere. Oh, and we also get some more Twilight logic, as Jacob suggests that since the baby is half vampire, Bella should try drinking blood. And guess what? It actually works!
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
It's also revealed that the baby can communicate telepathically, well, through physical contact, and finally convinces Edward that she may not be the little demon child he thought it would be. Unfortunately, they quickly run out of blood, so while Jacob distracts his pack, Carlisle, Esme, and Emmett, played by Kellel Lutz, go off to get some more from Carlisle's clinic. However, shortly after they leave, Bella goes into labor as yet another moment all little Twihards have been waiting for.
You know, I like to think I've been lenient with these movies.
I can accept the fact that they've completely boned the concept of vampires and werewolves. I can accept that an undead abomination unto man can impregnate a soulless bloodsucker.
But if you expect me to believe that nobody considered that the way this scene was filmed may be, I don't know, potentially problematic to the audience, well, that's when I start getting pissed. But hey, at least that's the last time we'll get a slap in the face like that from the movies, right? Right?
Anyways, the baby is born, and Edward and Bella decide to call her Renesmee, after Bella's mother Renee and Esme.
I'd also like to point out that is the second stupidest name I've ever heard someone give a baby.
But the celebration is cut short when Jacob notices that Bella isn't moving. This prompts Edward to reenact Pulp Fiction, substituting his vampire venom for adrenaline, in hopes that he can turn Bella before it's too late.
No. This scene has no tension. I mean, anyone who's read the books knows that Bella makes it out alive. And even if you didn't, there's still one movie left. Why would anyone think she's dead?
Thinking that Bella is dead, Jacob is understandably pissed and decides to go and kill Renesmee. Oh, and Sam learns that Bella is dead and orders the pack to head to Carlisle's house in order to kill the Cullens once and for all. Back to Edward and Bella, the venom starts to take effect and repair the damage the pregnancy did to her body. While this is going on, Jacob enters the living room where Rosalie is taking care of Renesmee.
That name gets stupider and stupider every time I hear it.
Also, remember how in my Eclipse review I mentioned how imprinting was going to lead to a really creepy plot point?
Well...
It's like gravity. Your whole center shifts.
That's right. Jacob Black. The only likable main character left in the entire series is just imprinted on Bella Swan's baby daughter. Mr. Plum in the library with a lead pipe!
You done?
Not even close! Stephanie Meyer, what the f***?
You have taken the most likable of the main characters and turned him into something that would make even the pedo bear and Herbert the pervert go, that ain't right.
You sick freak!
Now I'm done.
So while that is going on, the Quillettes arrive and begin an admittedly awesome action scene, but that moment is quickly ruined when Jacob jumps between them and reveals that he has indeed imprinted on the baby. Because of Jacob's little revelation, the pack can no longer harm the Cullens for some strange reason, so they leave, and the Cullens prepare Bella for the moment every Twihard has been waiting for.
I've taught you well. Okay, movie's over, right?
Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. You're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong.
Yeah, there's a post-credit scene.
We cut to the Vulturi's lair, where they receive a letter from Carlisle informing them that Bella has finally been turned. And well...
yeah, I'll just let this scene play out.
At least our dispute with the Cullens is over.
Over? Goodness, no. Our dispute goes far beyond the fate of a mere human.
And what might it be?
Why, brother, I thought you understood. They have something I want.
And that's Breaking Dawn Part 1.
How in the great Gonzo's hole is it possible that even less happens here than in New Moon?
Even when is happening in this movie, nothing happens!
Granted, it's been like that for the entire series, because as I've mentioned, this so-called saga has barely enough material for like 1 or 2 books or movies, let alone 4 books and 5 movies.
Hell, I feel like I put more effort into what has essentially become an 8-page rant on this movie than Stephanie Meyer put in the entire series!
And that's the biggest problem with this movie. There isn't enough substance in Breaking Dawn to warrant 2 movies. The only reason it worked well for Deathly Hallows is because director David Yates realized that there were too many important plot points in the book that needed to be covered.
There are a few gems in this pile of moose turds, however.
It goes without saying that Billy Burke and Anna Kendrick made the most out of their very brief appearances, but they're barely in the movie long enough to make an impression. The best performance of the main cast probably came from Taylor Lautner, but unfortunately, he's not physically present for his best scenes. That, and I'm still sickened by the whole imprinting on the baby plot point. The other plus, of course, is the soundtrack, which fits the movie to the T, but at this point, that should be expected with these movies. The problem with that is, unless it's a musical, a good soundtrack doesn't necessarily make a good movie. Especially if both the writing and the performances in said movie are bloody horrible.
Or if you prefer this explanation, no matter how many times you polish a piece of shit, it's still gonna be a piece of shit. What?
Well done, Kira. You've managed to survive part 1. But you're not out of the woods yet. Enjoy. Take care now. Bye-bye then.
Perfect. If you thought Breaking Dawn Part 1 was a slap in the face, just wait till next month when we take a look at Breaking Dawn Part 2. Until then, I'm the Hipster Ninja, and I think we might need some more booze. Also, I need to make a phone call.